Well, as you recall, I was struggling with the menopause, and that didn't get a whole lot better. Finally, the neighborhood ladies kicked me out of the Bunko group,
Aww.
but not to my face. Don't feel too sorry for me. It stopped being a whole lot of fun after the weapons ban. Apparently, I was the only lady in the group that felt the need to discharge her weapon every time I rolled a bunco. But still, when 11 drunks get together and frown on your behavior, it will make you think. It all happened last time we got together, and I made everybody swear a blood oath. You know, what happens at Bunko stays at Bunko. And somebody got in their head I was going to try to avoid legal ramifications for something. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. People like me have excellent defense attorneys. On speed dial. You have to be able to dial them before they get that second handcuff on you real good and tight. And speaking of, did you know there's such thing as a mental health deputy? They don't sleep a lot. I've run into them all hours of the day and night. They're sneaky little critters, too. They don't carry a weapon. They just have like a fistful of zip ties, and they kind of ease up to you when you're not looking. And next thing you know, zip, zip, zip. You ain't going nowhere. And if you still won't settle down, then they start in with this lullaby kind of talk. Now, Mrs. Stewart, you got to get a hold of yourself. And I said I was trying to get a hold of myself by getting a hold of others. I was going to use their lifeless body as an anchor. Mental health deputies. But the last straw on that menopause thing came the day my husband got home, and he said, Robyn, what happened to the pasture? And I said, well, honey, it's hard to explain it, but during one of my menopausal episodes, I looked outside and I could have sworn those wildflowers were laughing at me. And they had to die. In no particular order. And he said, I'm going to bear with you on that one, dear, but what did the fence post do? And I said, well, it started out as an accident, but then pure pridefulness just set in on me. During my haste to destroy the enemy, I clipped a few of the fence posts, but then just the thought of those Bunko gals making fun of me just drove me over the edge, so I just turned around and leveled all the rest of them. Make it seem like that was the look I was going for. He said 4 words to me, get in the truck. So the doctor put me on the estrogen, and I got to tell you, I wish I'd started taking that a long time ago. Within 3 days, I started to notice how nice my husband got. But you know me by now, I couldn't let it go without a fight. So I said, now wait a minute, how much are these pills going to cost? I can't afford all this, it's going to set me back. But the insurance company gives estrogen away. They figured out it's a whole lot cheaper paying for her pills than patching up his bullet holes. I was in Sunday school a couple of weeks back. Someone finally asked an intelligent question. They said, now, wait a second, let me get this straight. God and Moses teamed up and they're raining down on Pharaoh frogs, locusts, and all manner of disgusting things. Pharaoh releases the Hebrew slaves, turns right back around, goes out after them, gets gobbled up by the Red Sea. Now, why would he do that? I thought, that's a brilliant question. But then it came to me. Mrs. Pharaoh. Mrs. Pharaoh came downstairs the next day and she said, darling, well, let's just imagine this happened in southern Egypt. Darling, where's all my Hebrew slaves? And he said, oh, come to think of it, this is all your fault. It was your daughter who had to go down there to the river and rescue Moses. I still remember the stink on that boy. Some kind of blend of fish and tar paper. And now he and God have teamed up and they're raining down frogs and locusts and all manner of disgusting things. I see no choice but to turn them loose. So get in there in that kitchen and scramble me some eggs for breakfast. And you do not talk to Mrs. Farrell like that.
No, sir.
And she said, I know you are not standing there wearing a skirt. Finna tell people what to do. Now, if you know what's good for you, you're going to get out there and issue your royal edict or your Hebrew Amber Alert. Or whatever you got to do and bring me back my slaves. And while you're at it, I want you to reach down there and pick up that basket and get in there and yonder in my bathtub and fish out all those dead frogs. That's what really happened. I got a neighbor, his name's Guthrie. He's been giving me trouble. He's got 2 golden retrievers and no fence. So every time I'm out walking my Labrador, here comes Guthrie's dogs attacking me. I say, Guthrie, build a fence, control your animals. Oh, I can't keep them up, and the kids are always letting them out. I said, Guthrie, I have faith in you. I just know you are smarter than a golden retriever. Apparently that offended him. So now he won't speak to me at all. So I said, fine, I'm just going to find out a way to make this Guthrie's problem. So I went downtown to the ASPCA and I rescued a pit bull. And whatever it was that estrogen stole away from me, having that pit bull brought it all right back again. I walked into the shelter, and you know they have pink tags for all the girl dogs and blue tags for all the boy dogs. But way down at the end, I saw a red tag, so I just went straight down there. And there she lay in all of her pit bull glory. She had 3 BB holes in her. She had these long, gangly toenails that nobody was brave enough to trim. And on that red tag, it said, female, confident aggression. And I thought, I believe that's Christian for alpha bitch. So I told the shelter lady, I said, come on down, there's my girl right there. And she came down, oh, we got an adoption, Oh, well, do you have a good, strong fence? And I said, well, I do. What difference would that make? And she said, never mind, have a nice day, and congratulations on your adoption. Uh-huh. You see what that was? That was 2 Christian women playing a little don't ask, don't tell. But I knew exactly what she meant, and I was on my way home to stir up some trouble before I had to take my pill. I named my pit bull Wooly Bully. I just call her Bully for short. I got her home. I snapped her to the end of a flexi cord, and I said, come on, Bully, let's go find out what golden retrievers taste like. Don't worry. Guthrie saw me coming. By the next day, he built a fence the Border Patrol would have been proud of. Mission accomplished. I thought, well, hold on a minute. That was easy. I got this slightly used scratch and ding pit bull. What else could I use her for? School children. I don't have any kids, and that's probably the #1 reason they irritate me so much. But especially when they come around trying to sell me Yankee candles and $12.75 wrapping paper I don't need. As soon as I was kicked out of the Bunko group, I still had a lot left over. So I just snapped old Bully to the end of that flexi cord, and we met the school bus for a couple of days. Mission accomplished. I'm still splitting up the Halloween candy because nobody showed. I've only had one problem with the pit bull, and it's what you might expect. One night she got to gnawing on herself pretty good. I don't know if she had a hot spot or a flea, or if you don't have two pit bulls, they gnaw on each other. They just gnaw on themselves. But anyway, she went clean through and she started bleeding. I said, all right, Bully, load up. We got to go down to the emergency vet clinic. And that's where I made my mistake. Never bring your pit bull into a room full of bleeding, scared animals. It sounds so obvious when you say it out loud like that. I opened the door to that clinic and she commenced to acting like a pit bull. I heard that flexi-cord give way. Like I was hung up on a striped marlin. She spotted a Pekingese wrapped up in a pink blanket. To a pit bull, that must have looked like a frosted kolache. And the next thing I knew, out come the vets and the vet techs, and they had leashes and muzzles, and they were heading straight for Bully, and all I could think to say was, Bully, yonder comes the mental health deputies. Take it from my mama, dear. It's just best not to struggle against them. Thank you all so much for your service to our country. Thanks for all my friends and family came out tonight.